Welcome to Lindamood-Bell Radio. I'm Dave Hungerford. No matter where a student lives, they can catch up or get ahead in reading, comprehension, or math. Lindamood-Bell online instruction is available worldwide. Like at our centers, our online learning is one-to-one and engaging. Instruction is personalized, tailored to each student's learning needs. So it's no surprise that Lindamood-Bell online students make progress comparable to students who attend in person. Contact us about your student and how to get started. lindamoodbell.com or 800-233-1819. In today's episode, I talk with Alyssa, a young woman who's headed off to the university after overcoming years of academic challenges. Here it is.
So, my name is Alyssa. I'm 19. I'm from Mesa, Arizona, originally Monterey, California. I grew up in a military family. My dad served 26 years in the Army, so we moved around. I changed schools a lot. Schools, from when I remember that young, it seemed pretty easy, but as I got older, I realized it wasn't so easy, and I slowly started to hate school and actually thought I was stupid, like wasn't good enough for school, never going to graduate. So, we moved
Elementary
around.
school that it started getting harder, or was it more towards secondary?
It was more towards elementary school, kind of like around third grade. Like second grade was, they thought I was just like a late developer with school, and it just eventually clicked. But third grade's when it really hit, and just world come crashing down kind of feeling.
Oh, geez.
So
That's usually the time when they switch in their curriculum from like just learning how to read and how to process stuff to being responsible for the material itself. So
yeah,
a lot of kids have that. Our centers are filled with third graders, fourth graders. And so did you realize things were hard? It wasn't like you thought you were doing fine and just would turn in papers and get a bad grade. You knew things were a struggle for you, right?
yeah, it didn't click like it did. Like I've noticed around me, kids understanding just how to basically spell and things like that, and I'm just like, why am I not getting it? So it started to frustrate me, and then that's when I realized through my peers that I'm like, okay, something's wrong. Like, why isn't it clicking with me if everyone else is getting it? And it just got really frustrating.
How did you come across Lindamood-Bell?
Well, originally they sent me into a learning program overseas because that's where I was living at the time, and they had suspicions that I was dyslexic, so they tried to figure it out and help me out through their own program for what they could while we were there. And then we moved back here, and then I think that's when my parents discovered Lindamood-Bell. They were doing research and everything, but we didn't find out about Lindamood-Bell until 2 years after moving back into the States. So I was kind of on my own till fifth grade, realistically.
How did that make you feel when you were struggling?
Yeah, it was hard because I didn't know exactly what was going on. And, at the time I had an IEP forming and everything, going through the special education department, but no one really knew how to teach someone who's dyslexic because they're like, okay, well, you think everything's backwards, but now realistically, it's not just everything's backwards like they make it seem to be. So it was a struggle, but I managed to push through. But my parents finally pulled me from school in fifth grade, I think a quarter before the school year ended, because I was terrified for middle school, but I knew they were extremely more terrified for middle school because they're, from a parent's point of view, the way they're thinking about their child. I didn't think too much of it, but
Middle school is a unique experience in the whole journey of education. Do you remember your first time that you went to the Learning Center, what that was like?
It was a little scary because, you have that evaluation test, and I'm like, first, I hate taking tests. I still hate taking them because testing anxiety. I thought I was like in trouble or something was wrong. So I was like kind of scared about it, but they made me feel very comfortable and they're like, it's okay. Like you're not being graded or anything like that, even though I was. But, it was a good experience. It's kind of like, okay, this is a whole different kind of test. So I was a little more calm taking it. But
Yeah. It's a long experience. I know it can be like 3 or 4 hours to get through different ones. Yeah.
it was a long day.
So how old are you at that point? Fifth grade?
Fifth grade. So I think I was
Probably 11.
10 or 11, somewhere in there.
And so then what happened after the testing?
So after the testing, I can't remember if the evaluation was that same day or like we had to come back because they had to go over everything. But I remember them saying, you have a fifth grader who is at a second grade reading and spelling level. So they're like, there's definitely a lot of help needed. So at that point, my parents were like, oh, so she's severely dyslexic, or they waited too long. I don't know, but I was kind of like, oh, okay. So that was kind of like scary. I didn't know what that meant, so I'm like, what's wrong? Like, what can we fix or help improve?
And this was in Virginia, I think you said, right?
Yes, Virginia.
Fairfax?
Yeah, Fairfax. I think that's where it was. I know it was like 30 minutes from our house.
So what was the instruction like?
It was very different. From going from school to one-on-one learning, I was kind of like, okay. And I did not want to be there one bit because they're like, we're going to take you back to preschool kind of to learn the foundation of everything. And I hated it. I didn't want to do it. And then like with the amazing teachers, like, they make you feel comfortable and they make it fun to learn. So eventually I was like, okay, fine, I'll give it an actual go. And I actually started to like it because I actually started to understand like what they were trying to teach me about. And they're like, you want to know a fun fact? I'm like, what? And they're like, if I can teach you how to spell, you can read. And I think that's kind of what was like, oh, okay, then this was easy. So they just made it very fun and like welcoming and like, like you're not dumb. You just need a little different view of learning, kind of.
Nice. Yeah, we work hard on making sure that because we've done these tests and it's like, hey, we found something you're not good at. Now you're going to do it 4 hours a day. So you've got to make it appealing if you're going to get the results you want for sure.
Yeah. I think I did it longer than 4 hours. I think I did the morning and evening session. So I was there for like 8 hours a day. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I was there for a while because they pulled me out of school completely and I was fully at Lindamood-Bell. So like Lindamood-Bell was my school for, I think, 9 weeks or 6 weeks.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Was there a point when you realized that it was starting to click?
I don't think I realized it was clicking before my parents did because, like, when they pull you in for, I think, every 2 weeks or every week, like, they do, like, okay, here's an evaluation for how well they're doing. Like, I didn't realize, but, like, my dad had started, like, tearing up and so did my mom. And I didn't realize it, but they realized it. And then I think I realized, like, a week or two later, like, how much it was clicking. I'm like, wow. Like, I'm actually spelling. I'm actually learning. I don't feel stupid.
Great. And so, yeah, I'm sure it changed your attitude about things too.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad is 25 years in the military and he was tearing up?
Yeah. 26 years, actually. Yeah.
How did it end?
Well, it ended with me going for my final evaluation. I remember me still being in fifth grade school year. They were like, you jumped from a second grade reading level to a sixth grade reading level, almost seventh grader, in like 6 to 9 weeks. And I was completely mind blown. I'm like, whoa, like, how did this happen? And they're like, I told you, if you know how to spell, you know how to read. And come to find out, it was the vowels that really tripped me up, because when I would spell beforehand, it was like phonetic spelling. So like you obviously know what I'm saying, but it's just not right.
Yeah. Did you do the visualizing and verbalizing at all? The other program? Comprehension
I
one?
think I just did Seeing Stars, or the Reading Stars,
Seeing
and
Stars.
the Seeing Stars, and I came back for a math portion, like
Oh, that's
just
right.
4 hours a day.
How did that go?
It was good. I think my parents just wanted to get the final seal to make sure everything's like in line and everything, and make sure math wouldn't affect me, which I'm glad I did it, because I'm sure it benefited me in the long run. But I just remember the main problem was reading and spelling.
So how was your academic career after that?
Well, I had finished out in Virginia, and then we moved here to Arizona. 6th grade was still considered elementary school down here, so still elementary school. It was definitely a transition, so I was still a C and D student, but climbing my way up there. And once I hit middle school, it was like something had clicked, like magically. And I had been an A and B student all throughout middle school, all throughout high school, and I finished my senior year as a straight A student. So it benefited me a lot, and I definitely, I cried at graduation with honors and a 4.0. Like, I'm like, little me would be like mind blown right now. Like, just standing there with the mouth like in shock. Like, how? So
And so what's next?
now I'm going to GCU, Grand Canyon University, for pre-nursing, and then hopefully into the nursing program. And I got basically almost a full ride in scholarships off of academics. So yeah, I'm beyond thankful of the program, because I definitely would not have the confidence and the self-advocates for myself. I went from being the shy little girl in the back of the classroom to being able to advocate for myself. Like, I need this, this, and this in order to be successful. Put me in normal classes. Like, I don't need to be in the co-top classes for the special education kids. Like, I didn't let it bring me down in the long run. Like, yeah, I still deal with it, but you can't cure dyslexia, but you can push through it with what I've learned, which I'm beyond thankful for.
Well said. Well said. Well, I really appreciate you coming in and doing this. It's going to be inspiring. I can tell. It's a great story.
Yeah, I hope to inspire all the little girls and boys out there. Hey, it's definitely possible.
Nice. And we'll wish you good luck with Grand Canyon.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. Learn more about us at lindamood-bell.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are Lindamood-Bell.